We've sort of come full circle in a way. Our very first records we ever made as a band were done by essentially isolating each instrument and recording it separately, so starting with the drums and then building up on top of that. And then when we started working with Nick Dadia, he introduced us to the idea of playing live and recording live together. And now that we're a trio and we're self-producing, we don't have that same opportunity, I suppose, to capture the whole band live as we did in the past. So we have tried to take a lot of the sonic lessons that we've learned from particularly Love of Cartography and Made of Breath Only and do it in a way where we can actually track individually and layer it up. So it's kind of a fusion of a few different approaches. We're tracking one by one, yet we want it to feel like we're standing up. We want people to hear the record and feel like, it could have been recorded in a room together. So I suppose we're prioritizing vibe over clarity or perfection.
Tim has this affinity for big, roomy, raucous drum sounds that trade a kind of audio perfection for what you could only describe as a vibe, as an energy that he gets, and is such an energetic and expressive drummer that it was important for all of us that would be captured. All of the massive bass guitar tones and the saturation in the electric guitars, all of that kind of classic Sleep Makes Waves stuff is still there, all of the electronics. If anything, they've all gotten better. All we've done with this recording is just tackled them bit by bit a bit more. But one thing we do have up our sleeve is just a deep knowledge of how we all perform and where we're going to play. So I think that glue, that connection that we still have, holds us in a good spot for tackling a recording in the way that we have.
The three of us are kind of, for Sleep Makes Waves, unified in the idea that the best sonic touchstones are how rock was produced in the 70s and how rock was produced in the 90s. Rougher, more intense guitar tones, big roomy drums. They're probably not hugely conventional in the stylistic circles we run in, so we like it, and I think it's also coincidentally pretty good for kind of setting us apart a bit. There has been this tendency towards relying really heavily on amp simulators and sample replacement, and it can make music begin to sound alike, and you can lose some dynamic and cool stuff that happens from actually putting microphones in front of things. A really good example is guitar feedback, just because you can actually stand in front of the thing and conjure it up. So it's pretty good. It's a good way to do things.
This idea that we have to be instrumental all the time did start to feel kind of arbitrary after a while. I was probably a singer before I was a guitarist, and I think that's informed how I play guitar. So it felt quite natural to sort of go into this and use that instrument, so to speak, as part of the world that we're creating with these songs. It was just the nature of how some of these songs rolled out. It felt like they needed a part here or there to drill an emotional message a little bit more convincingly. And so hopefully that will be the spirit in which this is received, as opposed to some sort of unnecessary or jarring change. But if people sometimes don't like change, but if you don't change enough, then they don't like that. So you just got to kind of do what feels right.
My personal vision, I suppose, is like we're all older now, so probably 2 or less, and hopefully we can do more of this and make it sustainable and make the band into one that can release, a really high quality album every 18 months or 2 years, as opposed to every 3 to 4 years, which has been our thing in the past. I try and just kind of enjoy where we've ended up at. It's beyond anything I would have imagined is possible as a teenager. We get to make music and people give a shit about it, which is comparatively rare. I really try and just enjoy what's there to be had in this process of making music and putting it out there for people to listen to.